That is where Cosatu's elective conference is expected to get underway any minute from now. But as things stand, the Congress hasn't as yet started. But I am joined here in our makeshift studio by Cosatu's second Vice President, and that is Zingiswa Losi. Just to pick up from Aldrin's piece, it's time for some introspection, with many people, of course, doubting as to whether that indeed is what will happen.
Thank you very much for having me, Udvuyo. This Congress is about that introspection. Cosatu unions have to look into what have been the challenges in the past 3 years. What is it that we have learned, and what is it that we need to do to change things around? It has to be about workers and what workers need to benefit, belonging to trade unions, belonging to the federation. We are not denying that, and we're not denying that the federation has faced some challenges in the past term, but this Congress is a Congress that has to give a direction to the next coming 3 years of the federation, and even going beyond that, because you would appreciate that Cosatu is turning 30 years this year, and we need to do an introspection that is building the federation, and I guess that's what this Congress is about.
Well, I guess, as a leader in your own right, you do have some views, perhaps answers to the very questions that you are raising. In your own analysis, where did the wheels come off? Where did it all go wrong?
Look, my analysis has been that, and I guess it is what Cosatu has even agreed, that this is where the challenges of Cosatu emanated from. It emanated from, one example, personality cults. That when you want to believe that only an individual can become a federation, that when that individual begins to take a different shift from what the federation stands for, then we then assume that the entire federation has reached a state of collapse. Secondly, it is what Cosatu has always said, that it is that gap that continues to exist between workers and leaders. Leaders, we always want to refer to the first line of leadership being shop stewards, and you go up with the structures of the trade union. Thirdly, it could be also as a result of poor service to members. And another issue, but not the last one, is the issue of investment companies, as the Congress has to look into that, because investment companies are not an evil thing, Udvuyo. They are good at a point because they allow members to have extended benefits than what employers are offering. We have good examples of trade unions who have good financial and stable investment companies. The problem is when leaders tend to then fight over such resources and forget that these resources belong to members and not to themselves as leaders. And I guess this Congress will be dealing with those issues.
Well, let's pick up on that very last point and perhaps work our way backwards to the very first issues that you raised. How did we get to that point? Because there's a reality that I think everyone understands, that it's going to be extremely difficult for unions to rely solely on subscriptions. I think that has been proven beyond doubt. When you look at court cases and how expensive they can become, campaigns and how expensive campaigns can become. But what went wrong in how these investment companies conduct themselves? In your analysis, what exactly went wrong?
I guess it as I've said, that there are trade unions in Cosatu that have good investment companies. The challenges, one would say that you would pick that it is because when people have access, leadership elected is able to have a signing off probably to how resources are shared, then everyone wants to become a leader, not because the interest is about serving the workers, but the interest is about putting my hands in the cookie jar. Because once you become a leader, probably you will sit in a certain board, you would get some payment of sitting in a board. I'm not quite familiar with what leaders get when they sit in those boards, but what I have observed is that the tendency would be that the fight about union resources is who is going to lead the union. At the center of it is, when I get to lead this trade union, then it will mean I would be having some benefits, or I would be able to have some signing powers, which probably would enable me. Others would have probably some businesses that would get them some lucrative deals in how that investment company gets business. But it could be a perception. But this is why we said this Congress must get to the real cause of why trade unions are having some difficulties when it comes to, or why unions would have massive divisions as a result of investment companies.
But then why aren't you, one would have thought that as leaders you would have come to this Congress with at least having analyzed that problem thoroughly, and perhaps having learned from some of the decisions that you've taken. I mean, Cosatu seems to be, killing, the goose that is laying the golden eggs by, for example, getting rid of, doing away with Kopano Kimatla. Personally, I just don't think it's probably it's the best decision. But then maybe someone like me is not informed. Why not deal with the problems from where they emanate instead of killing the investment arms? Because truth be told, that is why even NUMSA, for example, is able to do the things that it is able to do now, because it is cash flushed, because it is able to work independently. In other words, the investment arms, if there's one thing the investment arms have done, it has been to free the unions and to allow you to actually take on more campaigns, to allow you to be self-sufficient. So why kill Kopano, for example, as Cosatu?
Look, even the issue of Kopano is going to be an issue for this Congress. But as you said, that we are trying to find the cause than dealing with the symptoms.
But you've already taken a decision.
Look, Pudvuyo, when it is like the call of nationalization of mines, when you know that you cannot nationalize mines that are already dead, you need to say, is it viable? Because you're talking about workers' money. Is it viable to continue to have this investment company rather than finding a way, if you have to do away with it, what do you do with the resources? But surely when you take that decision, it will be a decision that is informed by the mistakes that you would have made. For an example, Cosatu, we are honest with the fact that we did not have, for an example, trustees or board members in Kopano. Kopano has been solely run by two individuals who took decisions on their behalf, upon themselves, on behalf of the entire federation. Now, those decisions seemingly have not been decisions that were beneficiary to ourselves. And we're saying we should be able, as trade unions, learn from these mistakes and not repeat them. And I agree with you.
Maybe you were sleeping on the job. In other words, you didn't hold these two individuals to account, and you should take responsibility for that.
No, we do. We do take responsibility, and we have even said, as the Central Executive Committee, it is important that already now we have registered trustees. We have acknowledged as a federation that in relation to these issues of administration, indeed, we trusted each other too much, that if you are given this responsibility, that we know that you will be doing it in the interest of the federation, only to realize later that things have not been as we have been made to believe. And we are saying, as a federation, trade unions must learn from these mistakes that Cosatu has made, because these investment companies has a purpose of them, as you have quite clarified, and was saying at the center of it, it must be about benefits to members. Members, their families may not be able to take their kids to universities, and that's the reason why you would have investment companies. For an example, as I've said, NUM is a good example POPCRU and others are good example of such investment companies that have been able to invest in the future of their own members and the families. So indeed, introspection, indeed, this Congress will have to give us a direction on how we should move forward, not dismantling everything, but saying what is the root cause and how do we learn from it, how do we correct it and move forward in building strong investment companies that are not self-centered, driven by certain individuals, but that will have that interest, which is a mandate, of course, from members.
Well, another issue you're raising is an issue that is going to be looked at thoroughly at this Congress is the issue of how poorly many of you have serviced your membership. Again, how did that happen? How did unions, affiliate unions and a federation that really, took that to heart and focused on that from the time it was formed? Where did you lose the plot?
For an example, we said part of the issues that this Congress will be looking at is the 2015 plan, which was adopted in 2003 Congress, which said that by this year, Cosatu should be at 4 million in terms of membership, and we are not here close to that.
Well, there are many especially reasons. After losing 340,000 members.
Yes, indeed, but pity about that is that you cannot separate leaders from members. So the big issue has been that how do you expel 340,000 members? Leadership of NUMSA have always said in the CEC, we speak on behalf of our constituency. We represent a mandate. So if that mandate is a mandate that contradicts the constitution of the federation, contradicts the policies of the federation, what decision do you take? Do you then say we will deal with the leadership but absolve members because we believe these leaders do not take their mandate from members? They are saying we are a mandated leadership. So once they put a decision here...
Are they wrong?
They are not wrong at all. They are not wrong at all. Mm-hmm. But what we are saying that there is a federation. A decision that gets taken by a trade union, it becomes your decision as a trade union. It is not a federation decision until it gets tested in the federation and the federation takes a decision. It becomes a decision of the federation even if it is not your mandate that you came with in Cosatu. So the problem that we had with NUMSA is that NUMSA wanted to impose the NEC decisions of NUMSA into Cosatu. Then you're going to have challenges because once Cosatu takes a decision, even if the decision that you came with in the CEC is not the one that is taken, but this one is the decision that binds you. So we always say, for an example, trade unions are coming to this Congress. They have had their own congresses. They have had their own NECs. So they are coming with different mandates on different issues. This Congress will debate each and every item. A decision will be taken. Once that decision gets taken, whatever mandate that you came with in this Congress does not matter anymore because a Congress decision becomes your decision. Well, so we would always have challenges, Budvuyo, if leaders want to have autonomy even above decisions of the federation. Because once you are an affiliate, you are binded by the decisions that are taken in the federation, unless you are not a member.
Well, from what analysts and pundits, who are outside of Cosatu, many of whom, it must be said, do actually have the interests of the workers first and foremost. And from what Sydney Mufamadi in that inset was saying, the issue really was never about an affiliate that was keen to pursue its own mandated position as an affiliate, even if it was at the expense of the federation. At the core of the differences that have played themselves out has actually been politics more than anything else, which drove a Sydney Mufamadi to say it is wrong for a Cosatu to actually sacrifice worker unity at the altar, as he puts it, of politics, and probably politics and nothing else.
It is good when you get such responses from former leaders, because this federation does not get to part ways for the first time with 340,000 members. Numbers may be an issue, but the principle is a trade union. If you are going to play number games, then we are not being principled. Once a trade union, for an example, we have always said as Cosatu that there are a number of trade unions that have lost their affiliation to Cosatu for simple reason that they could not afford to pay an affiliation fee. The constitution is very clear, and the very same CEC, when NUMSA was part of those decisions, took a very serious decision to say you can't be found wanting as leadership of the federation on these matters. The constitution is very clear. If a federation cannot pay its affiliation fee, that union ceases to be a member of this federation. Now, we can't then, when we want to play numbers, twist the issue of principle to become politics. There is a decision of a federation. There is a constitution which governs where you should organize. So there are founding principles of this federation. We, the current leadership, found them here. Now we have a responsibility to defend those founding principles. NUMSA has then gone and violated those founding principles. What do you then expect Cosatu to do? To then massage that matter and say, no, because of 340,000, we will sacrifice the founding principles. You must then respond to the others that are going to say, so we should also do likewise. But also the issue would be, where is consistency on these matters? The principle, the consistency. Now, it cannot be now about politics. Because when Cosatu took a decision to expel NUMSA, it did not expel NUMSA because NUMSA took a decision in the Special National Congress not to support the African National Congress. Cosatu was very clear. NUMSA was expelled because they have violated the founding principles of the federation by taking a decision and implementing that decision. Because before NUMSA could implement that decision, we had engagements with NUMSA to say, but the decision that you have taken in your Special National Congress is in contravention of the founding principles. We're giving you an opportunity to change that decision, or at least not to implement it.
But then there are people who say, but two wrongs don't make it right. That's assuming NUMSA was wrong. If you take your example, your union takes you out. And then you run to another union, and then something is being fixed unprocedurally, as some people would say. Again, a break with tradition, a break probably with the rules even, but it was made to happen.
Let me also clarify this issue. NUMSA never expelled me. I resigned at the workplace that I was employed at. I was never expelled by NUMSA. I never went to any disciplinary hearing of NUMSA. No records at NUMSA will ever show that there was ever a disciplinary hearing which led to the expulsion of Losi. I think that issue needs to really be clarified.
Well, a simple, to put it, someone would say, but it was all cooked, just so that it gets to happen, and then we deal with it.
I'll explain the rest of how the process went. But I want to clarify this issue that Losi was expelled by NUMSA. I resigned in the workplace because I had found an alternative employment. Now, the Constitution does not talk about when you leave, change employment. But that matter was the matter that the CEC then debated, because what I did, having changed employment, I then wrote to the national office bearers of Cosatu to let them know that I have changed employment. And this issue may be an issue that will affect the position that I'm holding. And I wanted then the national office bearers, through the office of the General Secretary, to write a report to the CEC, which indeed that report was given to the April CEC in 2013. The CEC, instead of dealing with the matter, because it was when the ANC made an intervention, said the second deputy president of Cosatu because we are parking all matters, remains the second deputy president of Cosatu until the CEC deals with the issue. Now, when the CEC dealt with the matter, it was in November, during that special CEC that NUMSA was expelled. The CEC then said there is a precedence in Cosatu where when a leader changes employment, it does not affect a position. They put a number of those precedences. And they said the Constitution does not talk about changing of employment. As a result, the CC said we shall then take that precedence that was used in the Federation. This Congress must talk to that, because then it falls into the interpretation of the Constitution, which it says the CEC in between Congresses has a power to interpret the Constitution. We then came, Pudvuyo, to the Special National Congress. The issue of the second deputy president was raised on credentials. The Special National Congress clarified the issue that the second deputy president of Cosatu has the right to be here because she forms part of this Congress. We are now in the ordinary Congress. We will allow the ordinary Congress to deal with that matter. But when it was dealt with, leadership looked into the precedents, leadership looked into various issues, and the decision was then taken, which was tested in the Special National Congress. But now we are in the ordinary Congress. We will allow, if that issue arises, for this Congress. But what we know, our term comes to an end. This Congress, we are here to present a report of the previous term. The new leadership will have to emerge. We don't know who shall emerge, but whoever that emerges, it will be because those that emerges are in compliance of the Constitution. So this is what will be preoccupying this National Congress.
Are you in the running?
Yes.
For any position? Which one?
We prefer to keep that, but we have been nominated. But indeed, let me say, it is not the one that the media has been speculating about.
Well, people have obviously approached you and they've said things, so I want you to stand for position X. Which one is it?
You're really putting me on the spot, Pudvuyo, here.
We are open, we're transparent here.
The position that I was nominated on is the current position that I'm seated at.
And you are available for that?
The second deputy president. We will have to deal with it when the IEC ask that question. Of course, I cannot respond to the media pertaining to that question. Let the IEC ask the question and let the nominee respond accordingly. We don't want to undermine Congress delegates because it is their Congress. So I guess it will be out of respect for Congress that I should allow that process to unfold and let me respond to that question when it is asked by the IEC.
Is there only one position that you've been approached for?
Yes.
Just one?
Just one.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, the second deputy president of the Congress of South African Trade Unions, Zingiswa Losi. Well, with that, I'm going to hand over to Dum, who's on the other side where things are supposed to have to be happening or about to happen. He'll give us an update as to whether we're going to start anytime soon.
Well, thank you very much, Vuyo. Well, I could tell you that here in the hall at Gallagher Estate in Midrand, the mood is very electric. Delegates have been singing, and as we speak, they are marching across the floor carrying their various unions, placards, and making their voices heard quite literally. This is something that has become quite customary at Cosatu events, national elective congresses, and various unions' own individual congresses. So the members here are very keen to keep that tradition going and doing a great job at it. I could say now the hall is about 2/3 full. Earlier, officials told me that we expect at full capacity about over 2,500, between 2,000 and 3,000 delegates expected to pack the hall here. They've been streaming in very steadily, and they have really raised the roof here as they wait for the Congress of Cosatu's electoral Congress to begin. But back to the issue at hand. Among those delegates, we have representatives from the Southern Africa Trade Union Coordination Council, which has also come out here to show support. Mr. Muneku, firstly, why was it important for you to be here as a member of SATUC?
Maybe let me explain SATUC. SATUC stands for the Southern African Trade Union Coordination Council. And the Cosatu is one of the affiliates of this council, which brings together all major trade union federations within the SADC region, currently representing 21 national federations in 14 SADC countries. So as our affiliate, we feel obliged to be in this Congress and offer solidarity to Cosatu on behalf of all the 21 affiliates which we have within SADC.
Right. Much has been said about the trade union movement globally and whether it is still relevant in a modern society, ever-changing. We have issues of labor brokerage that is affecting membership, that is affecting operations of trade unions. Are trade union federations really what they used to be, and do they still represent the best interest of the workers?
I think unions are still very, very relevant now, and as they have been before. The question of the change in work patterns and the growth in casualization, labor brokering, in itself shows the need why we need to consolidate the union movement so that workers have their rights defended and protected. In the SADC itself at the regional level, in 2014, the SADC summit in Victoria Falls in Zimbabwe adopted and endorsed the protocol, the SADC protocol on employment and labor, which brings first and foremost the rights of workers at the forefront of anything else. And that means the unions now are empowered by this instrument within the SADC to advocate and advance those rights of the workers. As such, I feel they are more relevant now that workers are under threat, that workers are under siege from all these emerging new forms of work organization, including labor brokerage.
So would you then say, having said that workers are now under siege, that trade union federations are losing their grip on power, not only globally, but also in Africa?
Well, I wouldn't say, first and foremost, we need to know what trade unions are. Trade unions are nothing but the totality of the membership which they bring around them. And if its membership is under siege, it means them also as organizations, they are impacted on negatively. And what we are doing now is to rethink and revive our union movement so that we are able to confront these new emerging challenges arising out of the new forms of work which are arising. And it is this phenomena which we need to be awake to and be able to address and confront. That's why we cannot confront these phenomena individually, but we need a collective, and that can only be done through growing and strengthening our union movement. So unions still remain very relevant in our dispensation, and they will still remain as such.
All right, we'll leave it there. I'm now going to hand over to Mr. Frans Baleni, who is the former Secretary General of the National Union of Mine Workers, one of the biggest affiliates in Cosatu as well. Mr. Baleni, from your perspective, where is Cosatu right now? Is Cosatu a labor federation movement on the rocks?
Look, as an observer here, the trade unions in South Africa are confronted by many challenges. Firstly, we've got a declining economy, not only in South Africa, but globally. And then the second issue is the level of division and fragmentation within the labor movement. So Cosatu has to reposition itself to an extent that it can open its hand, link up with other unions. There is that anger of those who are about to form their own thing. We are hopeful that once that anger has disappeared, the workers must come together.
And talking about the anger, and Cosatu's position within the tripartite alliance, one of the key members in terms of helping the ruling ANC during election time to maintain its grip on power. Now we see anger fracturing Cosatu. Will that have a knock-on effect in terms of negatively influencing the outcome at the polls when the ANC goes to contest the election?
Clearly, if workers, as a strong constituency, it's divided, it will have a bearing on the outcomes of those elections. But it's important that Labour organize itself to an extent that it influence the right politics to ensure that their interests are advanced, their interests are not compromised. In politics, you will never get anything 100% you want, because it's not like collective bargaining. Politics is the art of the possible, and therefore Cosatu must be able to nurture, help assist the ANC to ensure that the ANC does not go to the right, but it remains biased to the working class.
And having been a very influential player within the structures and seen the impact of this crossover between politics and trade union federations' core mandate, which is to fight for workers' rights. Isn't this correlation or cross-pollination of these ideologies really what has caused the problems that Cosatu now faces?
The labour movement must focus on its core business of rendering service to members. But at the same time, trade unions cannot be about helmet and gumboots. It must ensure that it contributes, it plays a role in politics. Politics shape our lives. Politics are the workplace, policy formulation, laws. If you are going to lock yourself and claim to be neutral and not be political activist, others will influence the political path and you'll complain later.
Right. Mr. Baleni, always a pleasure. Thank you for speaking to us. Well, that was Frans Baleni, the former General Secretary of the National Union of Mine Workers, one of the strongest and biggest affiliates here in Cosatu. And with that, I'll throw to you, Vuyo.
Well, thanks very much, Tum. Well, good to see Frans Baleni, one of the former leaders of the National Union of Mine Workers, here. According to him, as an observer. Well, we're waiting for the start to Cosatu's conference here in Midrand at Galaga Estates. It looks like the hall is indeed filling up right now, so we're expecting them to start any time from now. It does look like most or almost all the affiliates are now already have gone into the plenary hall, which is where proceedings are expected to get underway as soon as, I would imagine, they can get some kind of a quorum. Speaking earlier to Cosatu's second deputy president, Zingiswa Losi, outlining some of the issues that she believes will be tackled here, or just simply have to be tackled here at this Congress. She did really speak to quite a number of issues that she believes would really have to be tackled here if this Congress is going to be the success that many people, certainly Cosatu affiliates and Cosatu's leadership, would want it to be. Among the issues that we spoke about, she did highlight the issue of cult, that she believes is an issue that needs to be tackled, but also the poor servicing of membership, as well, of course, as investment arms that she believes have really caused or been cause of quite a great deal of consternation among and within Cosatu's affiliates. Well, I'm joined here in our makeshift studio by the president of POPCRU, the Police and Civil Rights Union, Mr. Zizamele Tebekulu, who is going to take us through just some of the issues that his own union feels strongly about and are bringing to this Congress. From where POPCRU sits, what are the issues for you?
Well, thank you to SABC and your listeners. I think there are a few issues that we're very strong on as an organization. Amongst those that we have, I think we have the issue which rides above everyone, which is the unity and cohesion of Cosatu. I think that is one important issue that we are bringing, because without that unity, your internal solidarity, your local solidarity becomes weak on issues that confront you at your work situation. Therefore, we need it more than any other thing to happen. And also go to the real evolution process of Cosatu. We feel that Cosatu must change. Cosatu must change the way we are doing things. We must change them. The way we're approaching issues, we must change. We must change as a federation and put all our efforts on dealing with, I would say 70% of our efforts in dealing with workers' issues. And
presumably that's an acknowledgement that
yes,
at the moment you are hardly devoting as much time
yes,
to real
yes,
worker
yes,
issues
yes,
as you should be doing.
As we should be doing. That is what we need to change.
What are you spending your time on?
I would say,
Instead?
let me take I talk about the evolution process of Cosatu. Not per se making an admission to what you say, but what I'm saying is that looking at the numbers that are coming into Cosatu, and on a more special that we decided upon that we'll be achieving that landmark by this Congress.
4 million.
Yes, we're very far. We're very far from that. And it shows.
And you've just gotten rid of 340,000 people as well.
It shows that we have to do something in terms of dealing with bringing members to Cosatu. Affiliates must do their job. And Cosatu itself have to change itself as an apex structure that deals with certain structures of negotiations. And they must prepare themselves to be a machinery. One that is a competitor in the space. Two that is focused in dealing with workers' issues. And yes, we have to participate politically. Political participation as an alliance member or integral part of the tripartite alliance. Participate, but our focus must not be solely to deal with political matters and leave issues that concerns workers. That is what we want.
But isn't the problem, though? Isn't the problem with the way you've actually handled this issue? Because when Cosatu started,
yes,
and when decisions were taken,
yes,
that you cannot artificially or geographically divide
yes,
the life of a worker.
yes,
The same worker who's exploited on the factory floor is the same worker who has to trudge home to inhumane living conditions. That was the rationale
yes,
behind tackling socio-economic issues and being part of people's everyday struggle. But the problem, it would seem, has been with your generation, the current generation of leaders, has actually handled that issue. In other words, there doesn't seem to be anything inherently wrong with the approach that Cosatu decided at the beginning. But it is how your generation has come to handle that issue. Isn't that the problem?
I would say, partly I agree with you that the manner in which some people perceive us as the manner in which we dealt with issues that were confronting us was not correct. But remember, there are many things that influence change. There are many things that influence change. And from the outside and internal environmental factors that you look at and say, but this thing can be dealt with in this manner based on the challenges that are facing you. We can't pretend as if things are normal and as our predecessors decided upon something and we have to adhere on them. There are situations that need you to move a little bit, you understand, in dealing with issues. And coming back to the issue that you say we have just let 340 workers away. No, we did not. We did not. We tried everything at our best to make sure that those 340 workers remain within Cosatu. But Cosatu, which have got its own founding principle, as you say, and we tried everything. It took us many months to deal with the situation. But when people are decided, they've decided. And raising issues that are outside us, and you feel that that person, in whatever is doing, is trying to come up with some ground to justify his action or her action of leaving Cosatu. He has already decided and made up his mind. Whatever you are doing, we are wasting his or her time. That is what has happened. Not really that we have sat down and say all the workers must go away. Not that way. And as we are speaking, we are making every means in making sure that workers are united.
Well, it does seem that things are going to start pretty soon. Now we're seeing the president of Cosatu, Stumwa Dlamini, about to get to the podium. One last question, very brief answer from me. Do you believe, is the door closed completely? Do you not foresee any situation wherein the people here would say, at this Congress would say, maybe we should bury the hatchet and maybe try, even if it's for the last time, to reach out to those that are outside? Does that possibility exist, even remotely?
That possibility exists, as I say. We're striving for unity and cohesion of Cosatu. Even for those that are outside, let them come back, and not on our term, but on a negotiated terms.
So that door is still open?
That door is still open.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kulu.
Thank you.
The president of POPCRU. Well, we are going to be here the whole time. We'll be bringing you live that opening session of Cosatu's elective Congress. For now, though, and we've got to pay the bills, so we're going to take a quick ad break. After that break, we will be back, hopefully, with this Congress will indeed be starting soon thereafter.
that I'm going to call out who have not yet submitted their credentials is Sipao, Dinosa, Fau, Nihau, NUM, Pausa, Samu, and Satao. Please, comrade, can you quickly submit your credentials? You are delaying the start of the Congress.
Yes. Well, good afternoon to you, Natasha. Well, the leadership contest here at Cosatu's National Congress, the 12th, is very much high on the agenda. Delegates here have been basically making their voices heard and singing, just as you've mentioned. So the atmosphere is quite electric, and this is setting up a nice platform for Cosatu's leadership to come through. The leadership contest, of course, comes at a time when Cosatu is facing one of the most challenging periods in its history. We have seen that much has been said about NUMSA's being expelled from Cosatu, and how this has affected its numbers. And numbers is what it's all about. The Trade Union Federation in the past has always been very strong on the issue of solidarity, and we've seen Cosatu in the past calling out affiliates and sweeping through the streets of any city in South Africa, and this has given it a strong leverage when negotiating with employers. So now, on the question of leadership, Cosatu is looking to elect a new leadership that will possibly take it forward and try to start a process of rebuilding. Delegates here are remaining very tight-lipped about what is likely to happen. They are saying that, of course, key on the agenda, apart from the issue of electing the new leadership, is the issue of unity and trying to heal the rifts that have been created and that have arisen in Cosatu due to this very, what they call painful recent history. So in terms of leadership and the candidates at the forefront, right now officials remaining very tight-lipped and saying that it will be the delegates from the ground who will then decide which way forward and who would be elected to the national leadership. As I speak to you now, the national office bearers from Cosatu were making their way onto stage very slowly. Earlier, delegates here were told that the Congress is going to officially open any minute soon. So we are about 2/3 full if one looks out across the Congress floor here. About over 2,500 delegates expected. This is according to officials to pack Gallagher Estates here. So about 2/3 full, and from then on, it will be all systems go. Back to you, Natasha.
Mention the numbers there briefly. Now, at the time of NUMSA's expulsion, the numbers were 32,000 members. The numbers are down. How will this affect things, and how will they take the Congress going forward with regards to numbers?
Well, this has definitely, as all Cosatu affiliates and leadership of the various unions have admitted, this has affected the Trade Union Federation very, very, very severely. And there will have to be some very tough questions asked as to whether or not Cosatu needs to relook its strategies, needs to relook how it handles issues when there are differences of opinion. This will be one of the issues that will be tabled here on the floor. How leaders manage to contain divisions so that they are not disruptive and they are not basically crippling to the federation. There are a lot of issues that come into play when you look at this issue. Earlier I was speaking to former Secretary General of the National Union of Mine Workers, which is one of the strongest and largest affiliates here in Cosatu, and he was saying that now what Cosatu needs to do is to take the debate further and to explore how political questions can also affect the Labour Federation. Of course, Cosatu is a member of the Tripartite Alliance, and if you look at it in that context, this would speak to the fact that politically, Cosatu is not divorced from what is happening and what is affecting the country. Therefore, although it is a trade union federation, the political climate and political challenges facing South Africa and the alliance itself, which Cosatu is one of the strongest members, will have to be tabled and addressed. And therefore, this is a situation which has to be opened up and discussed quite frankly. These will be some of the deliberations that take place on the floor here right through the week as the delegates mull over these issues. And with that, I can hear announcement blaring out over the loudspeaker system here that is coming from the main stage. Natasha, I'm going to have to leave it there as we are about to start with the program.
All right, that was our reporter, Tumole Mokhlari. We have to leave him there, but we see that the Congress is about to get underway. That's the Cosatu's 12th and National Congress, which is underway at Gallagher Estate in Midrand. President Zuma is also due to address the Congress this afternoon, and we will take you to that live as soon as it gets underway. We're just carrying on with our live pictures there, but we will take you to Gallagher Estate as soon as either Sadumo Dlamini or President Jacob Zuma starts the Congress. But earlier on, the SABC
Brataga is up. Brataga is up. Brataga. Comrades, we want to start the Congress. Can the acting General Secretary come forward, please? Brataga. At this point, we want the Congress to get ready. We are delaying a lot. We were supposed to start at 10. Can everybody that is moving up and down get seated? Can the Cosatu choir as well come forward here? Comrades, can we all now get back to our seats? There's too much movement. There's too much movement. Okay, at this point, comrades, we would request the Congress to rise, and the Cosatu choir is going to lead us in Nkosi Sikelela and Solidarity. Can all the male comrades take off their hats? You like to forget that, and all the male comrades take off your caps or hats. Whatever you have on your head, take it off. Cosatu.
Yeah.
Okay, SABC, the time is against us. Thank you very much. We have started late. Okay, continue. Please remain standing, comrades. Thank you very much, Cosatu Choir. Thank you very much, Cosatu Choir. Okay, thank you very much, comrades. At this point, comrades, we shall make the roll call of all those comrades who departed during the period under review. Without any further waste of time, I will request you to rise again and observe a moment of silence, and the roll call shall be displayed on the screen. We are not going to read anything, comrade. The names are on the screen. Thank you very much once again, comrades. Thank you. You may sit. Why is this not running? That roll call should be running, comrade, there. Okay. Run it, run it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, comrades. There are some few issues we need to outline before we get into the agenda of this Congress. Firstly, comrades, we want to extend a sincere word of apology to all of you, the affiliated unions of Cosatu, because of the hiccups in the accreditation process. Initially, we wanted to have photos in the accreditation card, but the person we tasked failed to do that. We want to apologize to you all sincerely. Having said that, comrade, we thought as leadership it is very important to express some few words of comment before we start this Congress. Firstly, comrade, we want to put on record that as we assemble here, we have come for only one thing: to unite our federation. To put everything that sets us apart aside and focus on this glorious movement of Baha'i. As we do so, comrades, we must remember to always put members first, who are the owners of this federation. Put them first above everything we say. And I don't want the media to misinterpret this, to say we are choosing to put the members ahead of the country. No. Our members belong to this country, and everything that is a success in this federation shall be a success for our country as well. If Cosatu is divided, is fighting among itself, South Africa will never be well. The alliance will never be well. That's the crux and the gist of this message. We don't want any other interpretation, because we have heard that you have put the president on the spot, the president of the ANC, when he said the members of the ANC must put the ANC first. He said so not negating the country, but saying ANC is very important than their individual interests and aspirations. That was the message of the president that was distorted for whatever reasons. Comrades, one other central theme that we want to run through this Congress is respect. Respect, 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 respect. No matter what. Everybody in the country, those who are commentators, comrades, they have written the obituary of Cosatu and shelved it. Those who know more than others said we are assembling here today in the run-up to our 30th anniversary to bury Cosatu. We are not going to bury Cosatu. We are going to rebuild it. If it is your wish that these 2,500 delegates must bury Cosatu, you will be very disappointed, because they are not going to do that. Thank you very much, comrade. I thought we must put this up front. Remember, in whatever you will be doing over the next 4 days, put Cosatu first. Put members of Cosatu first. Amanda. Thank you very much, Mohamed. Comrade, at this point, the problem is dark here. I don't see when I put it there. Yeah. At this point, comrades, we shall invite the Acting General Secretary to present the credentials report.
Matimba, Aina. Comrade, I'm going to present the credentials as submitted to us. Let me also indicate, Comrade Huti, we convene a credentials committee as we normally do, which looked to the credentials, and the credentials was then presented to the special CC, which confirms the credentials, as we now present the credentials as submitted by the unions present in the meeting. We're doing this, comrade, for the purpose of determining a quorum. The first union is the Communication Workers Union, with a membership of 21,243. The membership is on Book 1. The expected delegates are 28. 28 are present, 22 are workers, 6 are officials, 22 are male, and 6 are females. SIPAU, with a membership of 84,279, 112 expected delegates, 112 present, 94 workers, 18 officials, 74 males, and 38 females. NUMSA, with a membership of 80,647, 108 expected, 104 present, 93 workers, 11 officials, 46 male, and 58 females. The majority are women present in this Congress. FAU, with a membership of 126,995, 169 expected, 160 present, 139 workers, 21 officials, 120 male, and 49 females. Limusa, 7,771 members, expected delegates 10, present 10, 6 workers, 4 official, 9 amadoda, 1 umuntu wesimame. Nehau, 277,317 members, 370 expected, 361 present, 329 workers, 32 officials, 195 males, and 166 females. The National Union of Mine Workers, 250,256 members. Expected 334, 294 present, 271 workers and 23 officials, 228 males and 66 females. Semkodini lapha comrade, kumele sibabongele laba comrade wase NUM. PAUSA, 12,619 members, 17 expected representative, 16 present. They are still working out my officials, nama workers, and male and female. POPCRU, 156,505 members, 209 expected, 202 present, 191 workers, 11 officials, 120 females, and 120 males and 82 females. Sakau, 120,352 members, 160 expected delegates, 160 present, 123 workers and 37 officials, 105 males and 55 females. The Southern African Clothing and Textile Workers Union, 85,204 members, 114 expected, 114 present, 97 workers and 17 officials, 54 males and 60 females. This is the second union with the majority being female members. Democratic Teachers Union, 248,969 members, 332 expected, 332 present, 300 workers and 32 officials, 180 males and 152 females. The South African Football Players Union, 592 members, 1 expected, no one present. Some are the doctors, 7,821 members, 10 expected, 8 present, 7 workers and 1 official, 6 male and 2 female doctors present.
Sounds okay.
South African Municipality Workers Union, Salinde, Credentials comrade. They're eating up. So jump over Municipality Workers Union, will come back to it. Sasau, 7,162 members, 10 expected delegates, no one present. SASCO,
Is the bulletin on?
6,767 members.
Yeah, but I'm not hearing that. Oh, okay, I'm hearing that. Yeah. Sure.
78 present.
Yeah. That's fine.
68.
What do you mean, just take it? Are they not going to ask questions?
And 16 officials.
Tell them not to do handover. I can hear them. They must do Q&A.
Can we, SASCO, come back and sort it out, male and female and workers, and so that but there are 78 present delegates. Satau.
I think I'm the one doing crossing now.